Hello, everyone. My name is Tara, and welcome to Aligning to Love. In this channel, I aim to spread hope, joy, peace, and love to the world by sharing goodness and love within my life. In this video, I wanted to give family updates and personal things that happened in my life this week, as well as the signs that I saw along the way. In the last video, I left off talking about field day. And if you didn't see that video, field day is a day where our PE teacher organizes and plans a day of fun for the kids and faculty and staff for all of the resilience and endurance and hard work that we've put in for the school year. So he was in touch with people to make sure that race cars and a truck event was happening at our school this day. So we had race cars there, we had ambulances and EMTs, we had police officers and firefighters, and our school counselor even got connected with military personnel that came, and they brought in military vehicles that the kids could also sit and look at and be just able to have their questions answered, be able to sit in race cars, be able to sit in ambulances and the fire trucks. The kids loved that. And that was such an amazing part of the day. But the thing that made me excited as well, of all the race cars that could have come with their numbers, I had 77 and 55 that I saw. And those were the two that came to our school. And it was the father of one of my past second grade students. And that was a really nice connection to have as well. And so whenever I see the number 55, well, I see the number 555 a lot, but this one was 55. And that is very similar to the 555. It means that there's a lot of change that's going to be occurring in your life, and to make sure that you go with the flow and release your fears. And 77, also in angel number representation for me, means that again, there's going to be changes happening similar to 55 or 555, but that stress, if you've been in a stressful situation, that's going to be ending. If you've been working towards goals or an ambition or a dream, you are going to be closer and closer to that achievement. So I was really excited to see those numbers at our school event for the race cars. And the other things that were so exciting that day is that the weather was beautiful. It wasn't too hot. It wasn't too cold. We had a massive slip and slide, and the firefighters even put up their ladder and sprayed water from the top of it. And the kids went wild over that, and the water was freezing, but everyone loved it. And it was so nice of them to do that for a little bit. And then we also had kickball, that instead of the bases we had mini kiddie pools, so they would slide or jump into the mini pool every time they got to a base. We had other sponge relay races, we had tug of war, we had the bounce house, we had face painting. There were so many other activities that I'm not even remembering right now that we had at our school, and the kids had a blast that day. The teachers were able to really celebrate with the students, but we also got time to walk around and mingle with each other as well. And it just was really a fun day, and it's the most anticipated day of the year, even at the start, because kids who have already been at the school in preschool already know that, well, for preschool, they're there for the morning part of the day when it's not so busy, and then the kindergarten through fifth grade are able to participate in the activities and the games after lunchtime. So we don't overwhelm the little ones. And the entire school just really comes together as a community, and it's so nice. Not only is it our school community, but it's our specialists in their field in the town that get to come and be part of the celebration, which is always nice. And to top it all off, after that wonderful day, I got to come home with my family, my husband and my daughter, and we had lasagna for dinner, but we also included and invited our neighbor over, Lois. And I just love Lois. She is such a calm and happy and funny soul, and she is just so loving and flexible, and I love hearing her stories that she tells us. And we were also privileged and honored to be able to see some of her artwork. She brought over her whole portfolio of the pastel portraits that she's done of her grandchildren. And so that was such a special occasion that happened. And I was just so honored that she wanted to share that with us. And we talked about the hobbies and activities we're into, and we just had a really relaxing dinner and got to share some loving and just fun conversations with her. Another conversation that I thought was really interesting that I had this week with one of my colleagues at school. I don't really see him or interact with him at all during the school year. He usually works upstairs, but we had a quick 5-minute conversation in the staff room when I was trying to get ready for the day. And we had been talking about how sleep is a privilege for many people. And I can totally relate to that statement, because right now, if you've seen some of my other videos, I do have a daughter who's 15 months old, and she doesn't always sleep through the night, and I'm up at night with her sometimes, and then sometimes it's hard for me to fall asleep after I've gotten her to sleep, so then I'm running off to work with very little sleep, and I'm running on fumes like a lot of people in America for different circumstances. And then there's other people that just have a really hard time sleeping, and whether they have a variety of circumstances. Some people, they just have different hormonal levels that they have to balance, or some people have anxiety or post-traumatic stress from something, and it's hard for them to sleep. And we had just been talking about, if we had bad dreams, I need to just get out of my bed as fast as I can, because I feel like I'm still in the dream if I don't turn off and on my light. And he was talking about how he had very lucid dreams, and how his dreams have been better, and that they're not scary dreams. And it was just a really nice conversation, and it was such a random conversation. I mean, I don't believe that things are random, and I don't believe that there's coincidences, but it was so funny because I never talked to this person. We barely even pass each other in the hall, and for some reason we were both in the staff room, and I don't even know how the topic of how dreams came up. We must have been talking about how we both had little sleep, but it was a really interesting conversation. I'm not doing it justice because I'm not giving all the little details out just for privacy reasons, but I was really glad that I had that conversation with, and I felt like I had made another connection. And I felt like when you make a connection with someone and you can relate to something that someone else is talking about, it makes it makes me personally feel more secure in myself, and to know that I'm not alone. And I hope and I feel like that's what he got out of the conversation as well. And so that was a really unexpected conversation that I appreciated this week. Some other conversations that one of them was really sad that I had with my colleague. On Sunday night, my colleague told me that one of her cats left out of their screen door and never came home on Sunday night. And then throughout the week, I was asking, "Oh, did your cat come back?" And this was a cat that had been sleeping with her daughter since she was a little toddler, and they were devastated, and they were really afraid that she wasn't going to make it because she was declawed, and she's not an outdoor cat. And so Sunday night rolled around, she never came back. Monday night rolled around, she never came back. Tuesday rolled around, she never came back. And then finally on Wednesday, on Wednesday I got to talk to her, and she's like, "Believe it or not, the cat came back." And so I was really happy for her, and I knew that her whole family and her daughter was going to be ecstatic, because for me and for many other people, not family, pets are like family members, and when they leave or when they pass away, it's just as devastating to a family, because they've been so much a part of our lives. And I was really hoping that that wasn't going to happen to their family. So I'm so thrilled, and I'm so excited that they got their cat back. And another conversation that I got to have, and I normally don't get to talk to my colleagues very much during the week, so I was so happy to be able to have these conversations. I got to talk to, I can't remember if it's her title, being a school counselor, or um, a not a guidance counselor, but I can't remember her title, but she she has social work credentials, but I'm blanking on her title. But I got to talk to her, and she is just such a fun and spunky and just so relatable in so many ways. And she's a great colleague that I always like having conversations with. And we got into a deep conversation, well, as deep as you can get in 15 minutes. But for me, it was very meaningful. And just how, some things happen in life that line up, and we believe that they were meant to be. But we also talked about how it's easy to say things happen for a reason when things are going well, but we did talk about how some things happen for a reason, and they might be things that in the moment or even years later you may never know why. And I was telling her how in my family, my parents always taught me, well, let's not ask why and let's just see it as what it is and move forward. And she was like, oh, I really love that. And she's like, I think I'll use that with the kids. And we had shared some of our personal, like, growing up experiences and our family experiences of what was really hard for us and things that we never could understand, or things that always made us feel a little insecure or disappointed if we didn't know the reason why they happened, or if we were just going through challenging things and we're like, oh man, why is this happening? And I think it is important because you may never know why some things happen, but everything that happens in your life makes you who you are, and it gives you more resilience. And there's lots of things that happen to people, and they're devastating. And not to say that those are meant to happen to you, but that hopefully people have a support system, and hopefully people have neighbors and friends and family that they can lean on when those awful things happen to people. And that's why, another reason why I created this channel. I really just want to be able to connect people and to spread love and to see how we're more similar than different, and having things not divide us, and just being more open to everyone and being more accepting. The world needs more love, and I tell the kids this all the time in my class. The world needs more acceptance, and I'm hoping that my videos can do this for people. And so, what are some other things? I had more on my list that I wanted to share about. Oh, in the other video, I also talked about how my colleague, who is in my classroom helping out with my students, him and his girlfriend just moved here from France. And for the last couple months, they've been trying to find a place to live permanently. For the remaining seeing of the future. And they were hoping that since my husband and I and our daughter are moving towards the place that I grew up, that they would hopefully be able to move into our apartment. And so things have been lining up for that to happen. My landlord has been in touch with them, and I'm so excited that that can happen for them. But since we're not moving until August, they've had to find a transitional place to live until August, when they can move into here. And he had been updating me the last couple of weeks that they found somebody and that it seemed like things were going to work out. And at the last gathering after school last Friday, my daughter and my husband came to that. So it was so nice to be able to have my family come to that. But there were so many people there that I didn't get to talk to him and his partner. And on Monday, he told me that, oh, well, that place fell through and they were supposed to be moving into the place last Sunday. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. But he's like, but it's not a big deal, because last minute, him and his partner were able to get in touch with somebody else in the town, and they had an opening in their apartment building, and they still moved on Sunday, but it was just not to the location they had planned on moving to. And I'm like, well, thank goodness that worked out. And again, those things that are meant to be, it just flows into place. And I was so happy that that worked for them. And I can't imagine how strung out they must have been that Friday at the gathering. And they didn't even say anything to anyone at the gathering, but they did tell me at on Monday that it had all worked out and they had been in contact with them before they came to the gathering, and then after the gathering they had gotten a message and a reply back that they were set to go for Sunday. So that was really, really nice. Thursday for me was everyone was tired because it was the day after field day. It's like that time after a holiday, you're all pumped and excited for the holiday, and then the next day is kind of like a letdown, and you're exhausted and you're tired and you're trying to regain your balance from all the excitement and the heightened joy from the day before. And so it was a little bit of a long day for everyone, but it was our last full week of school, so I kept reminding the class, hey, we only have less than a week left with each other. Let's be enjoying our conversations, our enjoying our interactions, and be respectful and kind to one another. And then Friday rolled around and we had a nice day of school. It was much more enjoyable than Thursday. And the other things that happened this week is there were lots of changes with my students. A lot of students got haircuts this week. One child in my class cut her hair so much that because it was a long way down her back, and then she cut it all the way to her shoulders, and she looked beautiful before, but with the new change it was so exciting to see for her. And she is somebody that sometimes change can be hard, but she was so confident and she was so happy, and I was so excited for her. She looked gorgeous. And then other kids in our class got haircuts, really short haircuts. One of our students, and a lot of the students in the last 3 weeks or so, have gotten buzz cuts, and they looked so great and they felt so light and so carefree, and it was just so nice. And it's so fun to see how people change their appearance or change what they wear. And just I love seeing how the kids learn and grow and change, and it's just so nice to celebrate it. Friday I was able to go to a gathering with some of my colleagues after school. This time it was just me because it was the last one of the year, and it wasn't as busy as the last one. There wasn't as many colleagues that went to it, but it was still really nice to de-stress and just talk about our memories of the week and the field day experience. And I was really happy that I went. And right after that, I had to really book it because I went to that. I was trying to get in all the after school activities as I could because I knew my husband and I were going to be, and my daughter are going to be moving. And so I was trying to fit in all the social events as I could. And there was also an ice cream social and an art show at our school at 6 o'clock that night as well. So I got takeout for dinner. I brought that home for my family. And then we got ready again to go out to the ice cream social. And I was looking forward to it because my students and my colleagues had been asking to meet my daughter. And I hadn't brought her into the school at all this year. And so they were looking forward to getting to meet her. And my husband got to meet my students and the families in the school that I've known over the years and the current ones that I have this year. And it was just such a fun event. They had music playing, and again, it was a perfect night. Not too hot, not too cold, and it was a wonderful turnout. There were so many families that came, and it just made me feel so loving, and it made me feel so heartwarmed because there were so many people that I've known over the 10 years that I've been in this community, all the past students, all the past families, and all my current ones. I'm happy that my daughter and my husband got to meet them. My husband also got to have some conversations with my principal and other colleagues at the school. And it's such a big part of my life. And it's so funny how my husband and my daughter, they only know one part of me. And there's so much that I share with them during the day, but he has no reference because he doesn't know them very well and he doesn't know all the interactions I have. So it was nice to have both sides of my world meet last night, and I was just filled with so much joy. So that's the events that were happening in my life. Oh, there's one more thing that I wanted to share. When I was driving to the other gathering of my colleagues that wasn't at the school, I saw the license plate Thistle. And I thought it was so interesting. I always look at license plates. And I had never seen the word thistle on a license plate before. And it made me curious and it made me wonder, oh, I wonder what background information there is on thistle. And I actually learned that thistle can be considered a weed, but it also can have medicinal properties. Milk thistle, I learned, is actually really good for liver health. And I also learned that there's a symbolic meaning for thistle and that it can represent resilience and protection as well as good luck. And so I was like, wow, that's really cool. I'm so glad that just seeing this license plate taught me all of this. Oh, and I also learned that the thistle is Scotland's flower. So that's lots of new facts that I learned about the thistle. Um, and so yeah, I love learning new things. I think we are all lifelong learners, whether you're in education or not. And those are just some of the things that made me so happy and excited for life this week. So I wanted to share that with all of you. And oh, the other thing, I should just have a sticky note on the side of my camera to keep reminding me, but I always think of more and more things when I'm talking. This week we also did a craft for the fathers in the lives of all my students, and they did such a cute little poem for their father, and they had this little image of a cartoon saying my dad is super, and they had him dressed in a superhero costume with their little poem, and it was really fun helping them create that craft, and hopefully it will be appreciated when they give it to their fathers at home. And as always, there's so many diverse families, so if students didn't have a father, they could do any role model in their life that they are appreciative of and that they love. And so we always make those rooms for differentiation, but I'm so excited for them to give that to their fathers this weekend. So I love everyone. I hope you all have a fantastic Father's Day weekend. Take care, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.